Hey, what's up, guys? Mr. Dan here, back again with another review of an Alain Delon movie. I reviewed the film Armageddon on my channel a few days ago, which starred the now late Alain Delon, legendary French actor, fairly well known in the United States. Perhaps, I watched a few documentaries about him, mini documentaries and things, since he's passed a few days ago at the age of 88. And they said he never quite took off in the United States. I guess you could say that, but he was certainly a go-to guy when you wanted to bring in an international star. Check out my review of the movie Scorpio with Delon and Burt Lancaster. And a few days ago, I reviewed this film Armageddon, and I've also mentioned that he starred in Red Sun with Charles Bronson and Toshiro Mifune. Uh, which is a film that I don't own, I don't think, but that's a really good one. And then you have this, another film with Bronson, Farewell Friend, a film set in France involving two returning soldiers who I believe are in the French Foreign Legion, which would explain how Bronson is there with them. And this film it's in English, and perhaps some of the other characters were dubbed. I'm not really sure, but they just go ahead and the whole thing's in English. Uh, to be in the French Foreign Legion, you would have to know French. But at any rate, yeah. So this is in like early '70s, I think, '68. Before that, so France in that time, they had wars in Algeria, and prior to that, they had their own involvement in Indochina, as they said back then, Vietnam. So you got these guys coming back. They're both going to be like discharged. They're both sort of looking for some kind of action. The Alain Delon character is a doctor. Uh, so I don't know. You would think like a youngish doctor coming back from overseas, from serving his country, wouldn't have a hard time finding a job, but he seems to be kind of worried about it. And as he's coming back, a woman comes up and she screams. She sees him and she's like, "Did you know a guy named Mozart over there? His name's Mozart. I mean, you wouldn't forget him." And Alain Delon says, "No, no, no. Don't bother me." He doesn't want to be bothered by anybody. Well, I'm not really going to get into the plot too much in this, but I will tell you one thing. He did know a guy named Mozart, and he's lying to her. But I won't tell you why. Uh, and anyway, he brushes her off. He meets Bronson. He's kind of packing up his duffel bag, and he's got a I don't know what it is, a pistol or an automatic falls out of his bag, and Bronson takes a look at it. I think it's a pistol because he looks at the shells. Bronson kind of admires it, gives it back to him, and they strike up a conversation. And Bronson finds him again and keeps talking to him. Delon, Delon is, I guess they're in some kind of staging area before they get released, so they're on bunk beds. Delon is ready to take a drink. All of a sudden, a hand comes down, just takes the bottle, takes a swig, and it's Bronson. It gets to the point where he's like, "Look, just leave me alone." At one point, he even socks him. He punches him in the face. Bronson's like, "Wait, you're a doctor? Well, I got something lined up in the Congo, okay? And we need a doctor. There's 12 of us." So I guess he's getting some work as a mercenary, and he wants, the unit he's putting together or he's going to be a part of needs a doctor. But Delon says no. Anyway, eventually, this woman convinces him that she needs to not get something out of a safe owned by a big company, but put something back in a safe. And they need a doctor for a couple days to give everyone an annual medical checkup. So he doesn't have work, so he basically takes the job, meets his nurse, who's in it like his assistant. She won't even look at him. She's very shy and very young. And then he plants a kiss on her, and this is the '60s, and this was Alain Delon. And then she kind of loosens up, and then later he's like, you before you wouldn't look at me, now you keep staring at me. So she might not be who she seems. The woman who is trying to get his help might not be whom she sees, but he has the room next to the room with the safe, and we're talking about a huge company. And he also finds out there's just going to be millions of dollars in there because it's a holiday weekend and they're going to pay everybody after the holiday weekend. But the woman's like, well, I don't want the money. And he's like, you're trying to set me up, right? You want to get the money? She's like, nope. Just want you to put these things back in. If you've seen the movie Die Hard, you might have an idea what I'm talking about. And he agrees, and they have a camera, and he gets some of the combination, but not all of it. They put a camera in like a specialized camera up in the vent. So he locks him. He's going to lock himself in there all weekend, and he's going to figure it out. He figures out there's X number of combinations. I just got to keep doing it until I get it. It's crazy. Well, who saunters in as the gates close but Bronson? And he's like, again, what are you doing here? Bronson just can't leave this guy alone. He knows he's got something cooking. So anyway, then they get trapped in there over a long weekend. And this is a big chunk of the movie. They're arguing with each other. The guards come in periodically, like twice a day, to check things. So they got it timed, so they got to hide. They're eating food out of the vending machine until they have a problem with that, which I won't get into. Well, things go wrong. So if you like Charles Bronson and you like Alain Delon, you're going to like this movie, okay? This is not total action Bronson, but it's still Charles Bronson. Well, eventually, things sort of go right, but they also sort of go wrong. One of them gets picked up by the police. I'm not even going to say who, and gets questioned, and that's like the final act of the movie. And the police commissioner is very good. He looks like Michael Shannon. Kind of reminded me of him too, but the dialogue is all very good, back and forth, and there's a solid conclusion. I'm really not going to say too much more. It's mostly a personality-driven movie. Okay, it's not like an action. This is not like a Death Wish type movie, or it's not like Le Samurai, my favorite movie from Delon. It's not that. It's not as good as that, and it's not, among Bronson's top 5 or anything. But it's good. It's really good. But I wouldn't say like if you're new to Charles Bronson, this is your go-to movie. I'm not saying that. If you're a film fan, and you know who Alain Delon is, you might enjoy this. I really enjoyed it. Definitely. I know Kenny from Kenny's Movie Pals said he watched it and it was pretty good. A film by Jean Herman. But not sure who that is. But well made, well acted film all around. Really, really pretty good. So go ahead and check it out. Have you ever heard of this? And if so, let me know what your thoughts are. What other Charles Bronson and or Alain Delon movies are you partial to? What do you recommend? Let me know in the comments below. What are your favorites, as always? Leave a comment, and I'll talk to you next time. Later.